We could also blunder into nuclear war by accident if our missile alert warning system registered a false alarm. How likely do you think that is? How likely? During the Cold War, there were 3 such false alarms in the United States that I know about, and 2 that I know about in the Soviet Union, maybe more. If we take only those 5, that comes out to about 1 in every 8 years. I personally experienced one of the false alarms in the United States, and it changed forever my way of thinking about nuclear dangers. It occurred in October of 1979 when I was the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering. I was awoken from a sound sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. And as I sleepily put the phone to my ear, the voice on the other end identified himself as the watch officer at the North American Air Defense Command. The general got right to the point. He told me that his computer was showing 200 ICBMs on the way from the Soviet Union to the United States. 200 on the way. For one heart-stopping moment, I thought we were about to experience the catastrophe that we had narrowly avoided in the Cuban Missile Crisis, but the general quickly added that he had already concluded that this was a false alarm. So it should have occurred to me earlier, why was he calling me? I was in charge of research and engineering. I was not in the chain of command. He was calling me because he wanted to know what the hell had gone wrong with his computers, and he hoped I could help him discover that. In fact, during the time I was Undersecretary, there were 2 such false alarms. One of them resulted from a faulty chip in the NORAD computer. The other was a result of human error. When the computer operators changed shift that night, the new operator mistakenly put in a training tape instead of the operating tape. And so the training tape, of course, was made to look like a very realistic attack. Our system, with all of its safety features, was still vulnerable to a single person erring or a single computer chip failing, potentially bringing about the end of our civilization. 2 things, only 2 things saved the world from that fate. First of all, the context for the attack was benign. Those accidents occurred at a time when nothing was going on in the world that suggested that there might be an attack. And second, more importantly, I think, the watch officer on those 2 nights were exceptionally thoughtful and responsible. Had they not been, none of us would be here today. But what if either of those false alarms had occurred during the Cuban Missile Crisis or during one of the Mideast crises where we were on high military alert? In such a context, the watch officer surely would have passed the alarm on to the president, who, after being alerted, would have less than 10 minutes to decide whether to launch our ICBMs before they were destroyed in their silos. Had he ordered the launch, there would have been no way of recalling the missiles or destroying them in flight. The president would have blundered into a nuclear war.